In a quiet valley, guarded by a ring of ancient trees, stood a village known for its hunters. These hunters were respected, admired, even feared a little, but among them was one who stood apart, a young man named Kofi. He walked with the confidence of someone who understood the language of the forest. He could read the wind, track animals with ease, and strike with a precision that astonished even the elders. Children looked up to him, women praised him, and fellow hunters envied his skill. But despite all the admiration, Kofi felt a void inside him. Every hunt, every praise, every whispered tale of his bravery sounded hollow. He longed for something deeper, something that proved not just his strength, but his worth. He didn't yet understand that the forest hears the unspoken longing of every heart. One evening, under a pale new moon, an old woman entered the village. No one recognized her. Her steps were slow but sure, her eyes sharp like someone who knew many more years than she cared to admit. Without asking for direction, she walked straight to Kofi, who was sitting by the fire, sharpening his spear. She studied him quietly before saying, "Brave hunter, the forest has watched you." Kofi lifted his head, confused. "Watched me? For what?" "For the desires in your heart," she replied. "You seek a test worthy of your name. Tomorrow, at dawn, enter the forest. It will give you the challenge you wish for. But know this, those who ask for greatness must be prepared to pay its price." Before he could question her further, she turned and disappeared into the shadows as though swallowed by them. Kofi tried to laugh it off, telling himself she was some wandering storyteller trying to frighten him. But later that night, as he lay awake, he felt the forest humming, softly, almost eagerly, as though it knew he was coming. When dawn stretched across the sky, painting it in soft orange, Kofi stepped into the forest. The trees seemed taller than he remembered, the branches entwined like arms, whispering ancient secrets. He felt watched, yet not threatened. At least, not yet. As he walked deeper, the forest around him shifted. Morning birds grew quiet, the wind stilled, and even the smell of earth changed. Soon he found himself in a clearing dominated by a gargantuan baobab tree, its roots twisting like serpents, its trunk carved with time. It looked less like a tree and more like a gateway into something older than memory. A voice rose from within the baobab, dry, layered, and oddly gentle. "Kofi," it said, calling him by name. "You seek a test. The forest will grant you three. Pass them, and you will carry a gift no blade can offer. Fail, and you will understand fear as you never have." Kofi tightened his grip on his spear, though he wasn't sure what good it would do. "I'm ready," he said boldly. The voice seemed almost amused. "We shall see." The first test revealed itself through a sound. Soft crying carried on the wind. Kofi followed the voice to a river he had never seen before. Standing in the water was a woman holding a child who looked weak, almost lifeless. The clothes were torn, their eyes full of despair. "Help us," she whispered. "Please." Kofi felt discomfort rise in his chest. He had only brought food and supplies meant for himself. He needed his strength if he was going to face more tests. But the child's head fell limply against the woman's shoulder. Something inside Kofi shifted. Without hesitation, he gave them everything he had: food, water, even his cloak. As he knelt by the river to help them drink, the woman's face softened and the child began to stir. When he stood back up, the river suddenly glowed, and mother and child faded into mist. A single white feather lay where they had been. Kofi picked it up slowly. The forest had seen his choice. He pressed on, clutching the feather in his palm. Soon, he heard growls, low, dangerous, circling him. From the shadows emerged a massive beast with glowing amber eyes and fur as dark as nightfall. It was larger than any animal he had ever hunted, its presence suffocating. He raised his spear instinctively, but something in the beast's gaze made him hesitate. This creature was not attacking, it was challenging, testing. The forest wanted to know whether courage meant violence or something else. So Kofi slowly lowered his weapon and lifted the white feather instead. The beast snorted, stepping closer. Kofi's heart pounded, yet he stood firm. He refused to show fear. After what felt like an eternity, the creature bowed its enormous head, brushed the feather with its nose, and vanished into the undergrowth. Kofi exhaled shakily. The second test had passed. The final trial led him into a quiet place where the air felt heavier. There, in the center of a sunlit circle, lay a pool of dark water. As Kofi stared into it, his reflection rippled and began changing, showing moments from his past, moments he wished had never happened, lies he had told, a friend he had abandoned during a hunt, but worst of all, the sacred gazelle he had killed years ago, a creature believed to guide lost souls. He had lied, saying it attacked him, when the truth was simple. He wanted the praise. A voice rose from the pool. Speak the truth you fear the most. Speak it, or the forest will know you as a coward. Kofi's chest tightened. He knew that if he admitted the truth, he risked losing the respect of his people. But lies are chains, and he felt them tightening. So Kofi spoke. He confessed everything: the gazelle, the pride, the lies he used to protect his reputation. Every buried guilt spilled into the air. When he finished, the forest fell silent as though holding its breath. The old woman appeared again, only now her form shimmered like a spirit woven from sunlight and shadow. You have passed, she said softly, not because you are flawless, but because you were willing to face yourself. She placed her palm over his heart. Your gift is sight, not of the eyes, but of truth. You will see the hidden pain behind smiles, the lies behind laughter, the strength behind silence. And with that, she vanished. Kofi returned to the village changed, his movements gentler, his eyes deeper, his heart steadier. People felt different around him, seen in a way they couldn't explain. He helped more, judged less, and spoke truth even when it cost him. Years later, a young, arrogant hunter asked Kofi how to become great. Kofi told him the story of the 3 tests. The boy laughed, thinking he knew better. He entered the forest alone, carrying only pride. He never returned the same. Kofi learned then that courage is not the absence of fear, nor the strength of the arm. It is kindness when selfishness is easier, restraint when anger tempts, and truth when lies offer comfort. The forest tests everyone eventually, but only those willing to face themselves ever truly pass. Welcome to African Folklore Vault, where the forest listens, courage is tested, and truth is the one burden no hunter can outrun. If Kofi's journey moved you, hit subscribe to follow more powerful African folklore and cinematic tales. And don't forget to like, comment, and share this story. Your support helps the forest whisper new legends.